What's up and good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. You guys have been following along on the Rhino Ranch project. You notice our latest project is fencing off the entire house from the animals. The other morning I just kind of jumped in and infilled a good section of this by myself. It's just been so dang hot out here, and this week we're experiencing another heat wave. But we're gonna pull off the fence for a second, and I know you guys are gonna say, Rhino, you never finished project. I mean, we pretty much got the hunting blind finished. The guest house is like 99.9% finished, but we have a priority. As you guys know, out here, we are prone to fire. California burn. Actually, most states seem to be burning these days. This year, we got a ton of rain, which means there's just gonna be a bunch of fuel for fire once all of the stuff that grew dries out. And we've actually had 2 fires in the last couple of weeks, all within a couple of miles of here, and yesterday was no exception. We had a fire yesterday. Thankfully, like, they ain't messing around anymore and they jump on them really quick. However, if the entire state is burning, resources are slim, then we're not gonna quite get the response that we've been getting lately, which means we gotta fend for ourselves. If you can see behind me right there, we've got 1 water tank of storage, and that's about 7,500 gallons, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, which is not a lot of water. Now, granted, we've got a decent producing well. 7,500 gallons of water goes like that in an emergency situation, especially if we got to put sprinklers on the house, sprinklers on the guest house, and you're trying to run hoses, and then, God forbid, or if we have a water truck we're trying to fill up or something like that, we're out of water really quick. So I've been thinking, I've always wanted more water storage out here. Well, to buy tanks like that, depending on if you want the galvanized or if you want plastic, they're dang near close to $1 per gallon. You want a 10,000 gallon tank, you better be ready to shell out $10,000. You know, I know y'all think that YouTube pays big money, but not to this guy. So I don't have just tens of thousands of dollars to blow on plastic tanks to hold water. So we got to get a little bit creative. And what we're thinking of is sitting right there in that box in the dump trailer. And I had to put it in the dump trailer because, well, being that the fence is not done, if the donkeys see cardboard, they will eat it and destroy it and tear this entire box up. Being that we need a bunch of water storage, one of the things that we've been wanting to put out here at Rhino Ranch is we've been wanting to do a pool, like a legit big, beautiful pool. I mean, we want to do a lazy river and we want to do all kinds of crazy stuff, but again, budgets dictate how wild my ideas can get. So my whole plan was eventually to develop the backyard, do this big, beautiful, grand pool. You know, even doing it myself, you're still looking at like $80,000 to $100,000 for a pool. And I'm just not quite there yet. So it pained me to even conceptualize this, because if you'll harken back, we had one of these when we first bought the house, and that is an above ground swimming pool. Actually, dang near where this trailer is parked, there was an above ground pool that came with the house. It was in the worst spot, right? Like right in the driveway. It was right here. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool because you had this wall, but then it had like corral fencing around it, and it wasn't pretty, and the liner leaked. So we kept it. We actually used it during the fires as water storage, and the water was really gross in there, and so I used that to like keep my grass alive. But I've never been an above ground pool guy. Like, they just look very trailer parkish. I don't want this place to look trailer parkish. I mean, I know it kind of does with all the vehicles and everything parked everywhere, but I'd rather we, you know, keep a little bit classier of a situation going on. Also, if you guys remember, that pool kind of met its demise thanks to Dedic and his Jeep. Why are you going back so far? After doing a bunch of research, we stumbled upon Intex pools. They aren't a super expensive option. They're not super cheap. However, they have very good reviews. Plan is, I'll show you guys when we get to the backyard in a second, but we're gonna make this look like a built-in pool. And I think we're gonna do it pretty well. And this is gonna give us 15,000 gallons of available water at any time, should we need it for a fire. I can throw a submersible pump in there. I could throw the infill line of the trash pump. If you need to fill up a water truck that has the ability to suction water into the truck, you can just toss it in there. We've got 15,000 gallons ready to go. So that's gonna be huge for fire season. And all of $1,800 right there. We're gonna be significantly more by the time this project's done, once I explain more. We got Abel over here getting the laser all set up, because the pad for the pool has to be perfectly level, otherwise you're gonna have water higher up on one side of the pool. Now you notice where I'm standing and where the backyard is, we are significantly lower than the actual backyard, and that works in our favor immensely, because I want this pool to basically flush out with the backyard. So it almost looks like it's an in-ground pool. Might give like a little bit of like a vanishing edge, you know, illusion or whatever. I mean, we're not gonna quite go that crazy with it, but it's gonna look like it's a built-in pool, because we're gonna level it out with the backyard, or at least with the top of the block wall or rock wall that is in the backyard. To do so though, we gotta be, the pool's 52 inches tall, plus we need room for our deck because we're gonna build a deck out. Plan is, so all these plants are coming out, we're essentially gonna be flush with the top of this. We're gonna do like a 2x8 deck. It's gonna come out, let's just say 10 to 12 feet. Then there'll be the pool, and then probably a little deck on that side of it and deck on both sides. But again, you can see the height difference here, which is gonna work to our advantage because we're not gonna have to dig out too much to really give this like an in-ground feel. I gotta come through first though and clean all of this freaking mustard weed out of here that just grows like crazy. Look at it. I mowed all that field and you can see all the mustard weed that's already grown back. About 60 inches is what we need to drop down from there. Now the good news is, because we're building a 10-foot deck, we don't need to start digging until we're 10 foot away from that wall. So until we're about out here, or 11 foot, whatever the deck's gonna be, we don't have to start digging until we're out here. So this slope can remain. We're not gonna really disturb this other than we do have to pull these plants out. And hopefully we're able to replant them because these little freaking things are hardy. I hate them because they're pokey and I hate to deal with them, but out here, I don't really have to deal with them. Then we got these big old monsters that have grown in. We got one there and one there. And I believe once the plants do that, supposedly it's like a century thing every 100 years, maybe it was every 50 years. These agave looking things grow, these giant stalks that look like asparagus. And then I believe they die after that. And based on looking at that one, you can see all the leaves. Maybe you can't see it on the GoPro, but all the leaves have basically dropped. I'm assuming that one's dying. This one looks like its leaves are starting to drop. Maybe it's dying. I'm not 100% sure. So dimensions wise, the way this is gonna work out is we're gonna have, again, 11 to 12 foot deck, 16-inch pool, or 16-foot pool, sorry, and then maybe another 5-foot deck, and that puts us just about to here, based on like my rough math the other day, which still keeps this road that goes around the property, which is very nice. We're not really intruding on this. Now, of course, that means we're gonna have to do more fencing because we don't want the donkeys rubbing up on the pool. We're gonna make the pool look built in though, so it's gonna get sides on it and all kinds of craziness. And then we're gonna end up spending way more on this deck than we are the pool. For now, let's clear all of these mustard weed and get this dirt and stuff ready so we can mark everything out on the ground. And it may be quicker to do with the coyote, but we're just scraping this top layer to get all this crap out of here. All right, now we've got everything pretty decently stripped down. There's still a couple little sticks sticking up, but we're gonna be doing a decent amount of digging in here. I think, we don't know until we start actually like putting lasers and stuff on things because your eyes can be pretty deceptive. I'm gonna go through, we're wetting it down, that way we can actually use some marking paint on the ground because the dirt out here is so silty and dusty that it just blows away if you try to paint on it. My plan is we're gonna be center off the fire pit, right there. The pool is 32 feet wide, so we're gonna go 16 and 16. Then I want probably, I don't know, 8 foot off of each side for a deck. Just kind of a trivial number. I don't know how much deck space I need. I don't want to regret it and go too small. Kind of why we went with the pool size that we went with. Originally, we were going to go with a 22 by 12, I believe was the pool size. But to me, 12 foot wide or deep for a pool just didn't seem like that big. I didn't want to do all this, spend all this money, spend all this time, and regret that we didn't go with a little bit bigger of a pool. So the next size up from the 22 by 12 is a 32 foot wide by 16 foot deep. So I think that's going to be the better option. It was really a $500 more option. However, we were able to find it on Walmart, like, cause you know how Walmart, like a lot of places sell randomly stuff online that they don't really carry in stores. Maybe they carry it in stores, I don't know, but whatever. Walmart had it for 500 bucks off. So we essentially got the 32 foot by 16 foot XTR, XBR, whatever it is, for the same price as the 22 foot that we were originally looking at. So bigger pool, same size. However, that means a lot more deck space. It's gonna be a pretty good sized pool. The deck is gonna be huge and it's gonna be a ton of money. I'm kind of regretting having to do that, but it is what it is. We're still gonna be, you know, 10 times cheaper or more, probably more than 10 times cheaper than putting an in-ground pool in. If it gets us by for 5 years, cool, that works for me. Now the pink line that we just painted, that is going to be the edge of the pool, but we're gonna dig a little bit past this, and this is gonna be set to our grade of 60 inches below the top of that wall. So the next thing we got to do is set the laser to that wall, and let's just get an idea of how much dirt we're taking out. So this is our laser. You'll see this one's really cool. It auto levels as soon as you turn it on. You can also adjust it for windy days because obviously if wind is kind of pushing on this thing, it has an adjustment for that. So now that it is level, it is turned on, and basically what that is it's literally just a little spinning thing that shoots out laser. And then the receiver end has this big section, you can see it right there, and that catches where the laser is. So we set it on this stick to what the height we want it at based on where this level is. So this receiver will catch it, and because this area right here is so big where it reads the laser, it'll tell you if you need to go up and down, because if it's catching it down here, it knows you need to go up to be level to catch it in the center. We rely on these things very heavily for all the construction work that we do. Now there's also a very good chance, that this wall is not level, which is kind of gonna screw us, but we're gonna find that out right now. Now we're checking our heights. We shot off the top of the wall over there. Here we are at 55 inches without digging down at all. So we only gotta come down 5 inches. 57 and a half. So somos level aquí.
Sí, no es poquito.
Yeah. So, posible más para allá, porque este lado es más arriba. Sí, porque necesito 7.5. Now, one issue we're gonna encounter, and I kind of had a feeling that wall wasn't perfectly level, but that wall slopes down this way. So this side is about 3 inches lower than the center point, and that side is about 3 inches higher, give or take. I wasn't fully able to get the laser in there because of all the plants. Again, we're gonna pull those plants out. And that also means that obviously this side of the yard is lower, so that side might already be where we need it. We're just gonna kind of dig in and just play around and do some grading. Now on the laser, if we wanna go down, right? So we marked the top of that wall is where we set the laser to, but we wanna come down 60 inches. But that means we have to go up on our stick, because the stick is going to be, imagine you're pushing this into the ground 60 inches, which means this actual eye needs to come up. So we'll just put a mark 60 inches up. We'll now set the eye of the laser to that. Let's check on this lower section of the yard and see, do we level out? Okay, we are way low over here, which is good, because that means water's gonna get out and we're not gonna be pooling water up underneath the pool itself. Look at that, we are about a foot high on this side of the yard. I think it's gonna work out well. We should have good drainage underneath the pool. Y'all, this pit is ending up huge. It's 10 feet wider on each side than it actually needs to be. I could have left this area like sloped and big, and then because all it's really going to be is the decking, similar to how we're leaving this slope right here. There's no point in digging all that down because the decking's just going to come out level over top. We could have done the same thing right here and honestly just dug to about here, and I probably should have, now that I see like how much we're pulling out. Yeah, it's probably better. Everything's down at one level. We'll probably have to put in, I don't know, I didn't realize we were going to be going down this far and have this big of a wall right there. I'll probably just put some like 2x12s with some stakes to hold that back as like a little pseudo retaining wall. The dirt out here is super hard. I don't ever anticipate this just like collapsing in, and even if it did, we're 10 feet away from the pool, so if this edge just started kind of breaking off over time, it wouldn't be a big deal. I don't anticipate this being my permanent pool solution for life. If I can get 5 years out of this thing, 7 years, 8 years, whatever, that'd be awesome. Before we even get to that point, I might be ready to build like a super sick, badass pool out here. Not sure. We've got Papa Rhino, he's in the old Coyote. I'm not sure why he's trying to spread the dirt in the field. Like, I like the field at the level that it's at, so we're gonna go have to tell him, like, make a pile and let that. It'd probably be quicker if I brought the dump truck over here and I just took the buckets from the excavator right into the dump truck and let him just haul it out of here. Got the crack team of inspectors over here taking some soil samples, making sure, you know, we've got a good compactable soil. This area turned out huge, y'all. I might have gone a little too big, going 10 foot on each side. That's was that 52 feet wide is what this basically ended up being, having the 10-foot deck. I might shrink it to 8, I'm not sure. I'd like to have, like, I'd like to really pimp this thing out, right? We got the deck and put some like patio cover over parts of the deck, and then be able to have lounge chairs on like either side, plus have this big front section for lounge chairs. I always end up going way too big and regretting and spending way too much money when we do things like this. But if we're gonna do it, I wanna do it right, and I wanna do it once. And we're still gonna be tens of thousands, if not $100,000 cheaper than it would be to do the like in-ground pool that we eventually wanna do. I'm not a fan of fiberglass pools, for anybody that's gonna suggest that. I've been in fiberglass pools and I've gotten itchy and I hate it. Plus those are still $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. But we are all nice and graded out. Tomorrow we're gonna fine grade exactly where the pool goes. That's the only thing that needs to be like perfectly level. And everything around it, that's gonna be deck. It's shot pretty level on the laser. It's plus or minus an inch all throughout here. This side, we ended up actually having to build up and compact this dirt a little bit, so you can see almost what we took out over there is what we built up over here, which means this is about a pretty consistent slope that this road has. Willie, you wanna say hi to everybody? We gotta say hi to you before the other donkeys come over and try to run you off. What's up, Willie? How you been? I know, it's been hot out, man. I'd bring you in the pool, but I don't think you would like that, and you probably put a hole in the bottom of my pool, so we can't do that, all right, buddy? But this is it, guys. This is it. We also gotta pull those out. I probably should have pulled those out already. The Coyote worked great today. It's not as quick as a skid steer, but you know what? We have the ability now to move dirt long distances, which we've never had. Obviously, just having an excavator out here, you ain't moving a whole lot of like bulk amount of dirt anywhere. Now I got to run to Home Depot and grab some stuff that we're gonna need for tomorrow. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we can get the pool started, like the assembly started on the pool tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, once we assemble it, you really just start filling it up with water. So if we can get it assembled tomorrow, we start filling it tomorrow, and then we'll start worrying about everything else that goes around it. Okay, we're gonna start off this morning by getting the old F600 fired up. The battery has been sitting dead, so oh, that's a big spider web. Yeah, we don't do spiders around here. Okay. Hopefully she fires up. Reason we're gonna be using the dump truck today is we're gonna be grabbing some sand off the property. We think putting some sand underneath, you know, the pool. Some guys will put like foam insulation panels. I don't really want to do that. I don't want to spend $600 on foam insulation panels for one, as I'm about to spend $1 million on a deck for this thing. However, I think sand will be just fine. So we're gonna use sand, but we got to pick some up from the other side of the property. And the dump truck is perfect for that. Uh-oh, why do we got an error? We don't want an error. This NOCO has done this once before with Dedic's Jeep, after it's sat for a really long time. Now it has an override mode that takes it, if the battery's too low, you have to put it into this override mode. I don't know if that's the case here. Maybe that's the case here, but it shouldn't be. This thing should kick on, or at least give us some type of voltage. Abel and I went ahead and marked out exactly where the pool is gonna go. You can hopefully see the pink lines behind me. This thing is, it's a pretty good sized pool. It goes from there all the way to there, up, over again, 16 by 32. We don't need a ton of sand to bring in because we got our grade pretty dang close. We're only gonna bring in like an inch or two of sand. So I think I'm just gonna make trips in the tractor since, you know, dump truck don't wanna start where I'm grabbing the sand from. I don't really wanna take my Diamond C dump trailer in there and get it all scratched up. Mr. Willie, good morning, buddy. Here you go. I got you, carrot. Enjoy, enjoy. All right, well, the travel distance ended up being a little further than I thought. But this is the sand that we're working with. It's not the finest beach sand. It's kind of coarse, but we're gonna be putting a tarp over top of this that comes with the pool. I believe that's how the system works. A couple little clumps of dirt in there. No, it's just wet sand. We're good, we're good, we're good. Before we put the sand down, we're gonna wait for Abel to fine grade out the dirt that's there, and then we're gonna run the Vibraplate, which is our plate compactor right here. We're gonna run that on top of it. Even though that's all native, we never really disturbed that. This is the only part that we kind of had to fill a little bit. So all of that is native, and it's really hard. And especially with the water that we put on yesterday as we were digging everything out, it kept it really nice. But we're gonna do one pass with the Vibraplate just to make sure everything is nice and compacted. In the back of the 6.0, I've got some pressure treated 2x12s, and the legs of the pool need to sit on something to kind of disperse the weight. I did some research. I'm a concrete and paver kind of guy, but everybody says if you use any kind of pavers, unless you're using something really thick, the weight of the pool is going to crack it. I believe the instructions, and everybody else says just use pressure treated 2x12. It'll last, you know, the life of the pool. So that is what we're gonna use. I'm gonna cut these down into just 1 foot sections, and that'll be our little pads that the pool legs sit on. Let's get the Vibraplate down. Oh, she's a little heavy. She's a little heavy. Let's see if we can, we're gonna slide her off. I don't know what's going on. We've got this Vibraplate for years. She's maybe had one oil change in probably 10, 15 years. And she's starting to really smoke right now. I don't know why. I wonder if maybe it's the angle it was sitting at in the truck, but it was pretty flat in my truck. All right, looks like she burned off whatever oil she was burning. No more smoking. Now I've got a little bit of a conundrum. We definitely should have took the plants out first. I screwed up by not doing that. I just got so excited to start digging a hole. It's probably best we do it now versus when we put the pool in. I mean, Abel's almost ready to fine grade with the sand. So as soon as the sand goes down, we're pretty much ready to put the pool in. I don't want one of these big old pokey things to like get out of my grip of the excavator, roll down the hill and then puncture the side of the pool. That would be a horrible day. Especially this giant asparagus right here. I mean, he's just waiting to fall on something. I'm gonna try to track over. Maybe I'll do it from the high side. Stay up top there and grab these things out of time. I'm not 100% sure if that's gonna work, but we gotta figure something out. Now, even though we believe this one's probably gonna die, because that's what I've heard once they grow that big old asparagus off the top, we'll try to replant it. Papa Rhino's gonna trim it. Try to get as big a root ball as you can, but these things got actually really skinny and pretty shallow roots. I can only dig out so much. There's a wall in the way. I can't really dig on all three sides of it. And I only have so much of an option to grab it with the excavator, so they get a little bit chewed up. These things are super, super hardy. They never get watered. I mean, they probably leach a little bit of water off the lawn, but you see these plants kind of growing everywhere out here with no water. However, my luck transporting them, as hardy as they are, they're probably gonna die once we plant them here. And the little spawn of these things are like Satan's spawn. I have some all along the edge of my grass, and like you'll get little new ones just sprouting up in the middle of the grass, and they are a freaking pain in the butt to tear out. They're pokey. We have a couple up there that aren't pokey, but these ones are all pokey. I don't mind them out here, as long as I don't gotta like get near them or maintain them. And the deck will be up above. If we can get them to live and replant them here, cool. If they don't make it, we'll plant something else. Back up a little bit. Well, we managed to pull the big one out, and I kind of mangled her trying to stand her up in place. She's heavy. They trimmed it all nice and neatly for me, and then I ended up breaking the stalk off and mushed the crap out of it. I don't know. I don't think it was really gonna survive anyway, but now we probably really met its fate. If it grows, it grows. Again, if not, we can always plant new stuff around here. Just trying to save some of the plants. We did, however, just lose power to the house. Well, I guess to the entire valley we live in. Lost power. Power company doesn't have an answer yet as to why they are on it, so time to hook up some generators. I've come up to the guest house, and since I don't have a whole home generator that powers the entire property, I run the generator down at my house. Well, two generators. Well, one to run basically what I need to run in the house for comfort, the fridge and the Wi-Fi. If we want water pressure and we've bled off the pressure tank, I'll take my Harbor Freight 9000 generator out to the well, and we can plug that in and basically pressurize our entire water system. But for the guest house, we've got something really cool. I already called my tenants and made sure like it was cool that I came inside and did all this, you know, to save all their food that they have in the fridge. But we've got the EcoFlow hooked up. It was charged at 94%, and the fridge has been off for a little while, so it's in like, I don't know, the mode where the fridge actually kicks on. You guys know when your fridge like kicks on at first, and then eventually it like drops down to idle and uses like next to no power. So it's currently on the like high mode of trying to cool the fridge back down, and we are at 18 hours. This will run the fridge at 94%. And just so you know, we can prove to everybody, fridge is on, power is not on, no power. This EcoFlow thing is freaking awesome. I recommend you guys get one of these for emergency backup, for camping, for whatever you want. I mean, I'm not just saying that because they send it to me. This thing's kind of saving the day right now. Our tenants have a fully stocked fridge that we don't want them to lose. Now we're a proper landscaping crew. We've got the mini truck out. I'm gonna use the Mini X to load the mini truck with the mini, whatever the heck these things are called. I think they'll go in. The root systems are real short on these. I bet we get these and some of these like this one in. Let's see if the mini truck will dump it. It's kind of a lot of weight. I don't know, I can't hear it. We're in the Mini X, can't hear if the pump's running or not. It might be. Oh, nope. Nothing too heavy for the mini truck. It's not good if they're looking underneath. Oh, they zip tied up some wires. I wonder if that stopping them. Hopefully they didn't break nothing. Things are getting real. We've got the entire hillside over here cleaned. We're gonna clean the last little bit by hand, but these things are just miserable to move. The stupid giant leaves get buried in the dirt and they just mush, and like it ain't even fun to grab with the machine. First, we're gonna put down a weed barrier. You could probably do it after on top of the sand, but we're only gonna have like this much sand on top of the weed barrier. Plus the pool comes with its own tarp, which is essentially a weed barrier on steroids. Stuff's gonna grow through anyway. It just happens with weed barrier. You do your best. We bought some of the higher quality stuff. Hopefully nothing ever grows, but you guys see that stuff's pretty resilient out here and grows like crazy. So do a couple rows of this, then bring our sand in the center section, get everything graded out. And then again, hoping we got time to start putting the pool together today. I hope everything's here. I hope everything's in that one box. I don't know, we never really checked.
Hey guys, sorry guys.
Now we're gonna staple this into the ground using just big yard staples, weed barrier staples, whatever they're called. Okay, now that we brought all the sand over, you can see our string lines. We've run a few in here, basically the width of the board. These lines are all set to the height that we want. Well, actually 3.5 inches higher. Now these monsters are getting locked up because I thought we were gonna be able to get the pool like up today. Unfortunately, just getting that sand and everything here took way longer than I thought it would. So we're not gonna have enough time before Abel's off, and I feel like it's much better as a 3-person job than a 2-person job. But I know if I leave that area unguarded overnight, these guys are gonna trample the crap out of it and screw up our grade. And we definitely don't want that. So they're gonna stay locked up for the night, getting them some nice fresh water. Everybody got some carrots, everybody's excited. The goats lock themselves up even though they can walk through these gates, but they get put up a little bit later. But at least we know we will stay protected and no animals are gonna screw anything up until we get the pool up. And then we still gotta figure out some type of temporary fencing solution because these guys, I don't want them rubbing all over the pool. Don't know if they'll hurt it or not, but they'll damn sure try. So with this, guys, we're going to call it a wrap. I was, again, hoping we'd have the pool up in this video, but we're just gonna have to wait for the next video. You can kind of see here now, like the grade change of the wall, where the wall definitely does dive down a little bit. So the deck's gonna be a little bit higher than the wall over there, and probably a little bit lower. I'm just kind of leveling out with that center point. It's not ideal, but we're working with what we got here. That's why I like things level. Anytime we build them, I just shoot for level. We'll do the dirt work to make it all work out, but let's try and get whatever we're building to be level. The pad down here is level, everything is good. I think we're gonna be good bringing in the sand. Again, there's another tarp that goes over top of this before the pool goes down, but I think the sand's gonna feel better on our feet. Gotta give a huge thank you to Abel, huge thank you to Papa Rhino, huge thank you to Joe, everybody that's helped out so far on this project. You know, Abel jumps in here when I'm doing tractor work and he just makes my stuff look really, really good. He's a great guy to have on a shovel. Me and Abel have been working together for probably almost 15 years now, I think, at this point, which makes it really nice. When you're the guy on the machine and you don't have to tell the guy on the ground what to do, me and Abel work really well together. It just makes for a good team. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now that you do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, get a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn.